Hey folks, welcome to another edition of PlayBranson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. And I just want to let you know that today's show, we have someone very special on it. We have Cecil, also known as Eric Presley. And so super excited to have him on the show today. You know, it's tough to get entertainers on the show, and sometimes. And you know, today also is our 200th episode, which, you know, it's just another number, but it sounds like, you know, I like the number itself, because it's like, it sounds like a lot. And I'm like, who would be like the perfect person to have on the show? And so I thought back to the Presleys, who've been doing the show business for 54 years. And I said, man, we need to have someone that helped start the entertainment industry in Branson. And so we got Cecil. He really causes thousands of people a year to laugh, and makes them laugh, and influences people in a great way. And so we'll have him on the show for our 200th episode. Now, just a little bit of trivia. We started posting our shows online February 2nd, 2017. So we're in our 5th season of doing this, or 4.5 years, depending on how you look at it. And our first guest way back then was Shoji Tabuchi. And so we've filmed at probably 4 or 5 different locations now, been pretty consistent here. I didn't want to give a big shout out to Mark. He's on the other side of the camera. You can't see him. He's been here since day one, helping to put this show together. And we just want to say thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting Branson's entertainers. That's what makes Branson unique and different. And we want to do all we can here on PlayBranson to help support them and encourage you, our audience, to go see their shows, because there's nothing like live entertainment. And live entertainment can make a difference in your life, a positive difference in your life, whether it's smiling, laughter, remembering songs from yesterday, or whatever. God created music for us to enjoy. And what better place in America than Branson, Missouri, to enjoy it? So we want to thank you for being part of our audience, and we're going to be back in just a second with Cecil.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need ibranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at ibranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. ibranson.com.
Folks, welcome back to another edition of PlayBranson, and today, for the first time ever on the show, I have the one and only Cecil, aka Eric Presley.
Yeah, the crowd goes mild.
So it's good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having us. Oh yeah, it's awesome. Yeah,
you know,
thank you.
This is a big episode for me. When you look at numbers,
I just found that out.
Yeah, the 200th episode. Now, not as many as you guys have done on RFD, but
it's a lot of work.
You've
put a lot into this. You do a great job. Yeah. And the whole town thanks you, because it's just wonderful. 200 episodes. Congratulations.
Yeah. So I bought a new shirt today for this.
Oh, wow.
Did. I had it. It was funny. It was like I had to go through 4 or 5 shirts on Tommy Bahama.
Yeah,
I like Tommy Bahama. I want you
Yeah.
as a sponsor, Tommy, by the way. But they finally sent it, and so I'm like, I'm just going to wear this as a special shirt just for the episode today.
Well, I wore my special shirt. No, not really, but thank you. But I couldn't be more honored to be here today.
Yeah. So, if you haven't been to the Presleys, this is Cecil, and Cecil, you're you're one of the comedians.
One of the comedians. Yeah, I've done it my whole life.
And go back. Let's talk about that.
Okay, so our theater's been there since 1967 in that same location. My family built it there on really just a 2-lane stretch of road, and the whole idea was to try to catch fishermen after they were done fishing, because you know, not everybody had TVs back then, or air conditioning for that matter, and nothing to do at night around here. So my family were entertainers, and they'd played in caves and on flatbed trucks for years. And so they built this building and said, let's put our show in there and see if we can catch some fishermen when
there
they're
done.
Yeah. In fact, they built the theater with a flat floor in it. so they could store boats if the show didn't work.
There's a good.
That's
good
true.
tip right
Yeah,
there.
that's true. And we've told that story a lot, and we say we haven't stored a boat yet, but
That's good.
we still haven't ruled it out either. Yeah, 54 years, a lot of it's happened. But so I grew up in it. I don't know any different than doing the show. I don't ever remember a time in my life where there wasn't a show at 8 o'clock. You just went and do. And I think maybe because it's been such a big, I've never known different. My brothers are the same way.
So you have two brothers
Two
in
brothers,
the show.
yeah.
And so you have Scott and Greg.
Right?
And Scott has been on the show, I think, a year or two ago.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, that's right.
and then I've had Steve. So
Yep.
you're the third Presley.
Yay.
Well, and I've had I've had some of I had Dean on the show. As
Oh,
well.
Dean's the best. Yeah.
So
All right. Well.
he got a lot of views.
Yeah. Well, Dean's the best.
got a
Yeah.
lot of
Dean
views.
is really good. Don't tell him that.
Yeah. He's a very humble guy, though.
He is. And Dad and I play a bluegrass thing with Dean every night, and it's probably one of my favorite parts of the show to do because it's with Dean. Yeah. And people love it. And what's great about Dean Holman is when he's playing, you can see the happiness come out of him. There's nothing he loves more than to play, and that's why he's so good at it too. We're lucky to have Dean. We're lucky to have all of them. For that.
So if we go way back, you just grew up on stage.
I did. Yeah.
And so do you have like a first memory of like when you remember being on stage?
I don't have any memory of not doing a show ever. And my son's is going to be the same way.
When did you start your son on the show? How old was
As
he?
soon as he could pretty much walk or run off stage.
Oh my gosh, my posters are falling back behind us, but we're gonna keep
Do you
keep
save
going.
your bloopers?
We're gonna keep going.
We save all of our bloopers.
just keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
There you go. So we don't. I tell you guys, we don't do double takes. We really don't.
You should.
You should, but
but
we
you don't.
We're on a tight budget.
That's fine. I told you I'm here all day if you want to start
Yeah,
up. No,
we'll
no. But
catch
anyway,
up
yeah.
later.
What we were saying was, my son Ben, he doesn't know any different like I do. We've done it our whole lives, and I don't know. Maybe that's why we're probably the most show business people you'll ever meet. Mm-hmm. It's ran more like a farm around there, a family farm. When you grow up on a farm, you grow up and if something needs plowed or something needs taken care of, you just do it, and that's what that place has kind of been.
So how did you determine like the whole comedy thing? Like, is that just kind of where you wanted to go, or is that kind of where you were steered? Or?
Well, we all started out, me and my two brothers, as little Herkimers, dressed like my dad, and I say they grew out of it. I didn't. But what really happened was when they got in their early teens, they both picked up instruments. And they got really good at it. And they're great musicians. And they just started to kind of gradually head that direction. And I stayed dressed like my dad up until I was probably 15, something like that. And then somehow just always had the name Cecil, but I looked like a Herkimer, overalls and stuff. And then somehow got this new outfit. And have been that ever since. So I don't know any better.
Yeah. Well, I think it's fascinating because, like, it takes special people to make people laugh. Like, that's a talent that not everybody has.
Yeah, special people. I know what you said, and I heard you. Yeah, I agree. No, I don't. I'm not. And most of the comedians I know aren't the guys that think, man, I'm the funniest person in the room. I'm going to go just knock every night. It's like a challenge. I appreciate it, but I don't. I feel like I've got to every night win them over, and I look forward to it. But I don't think I'm funny.
Yeah, but the people in the audience do.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and I'm going to keep trying. So maybe that's why it's
So I think I saw the show. I think it was earlier this year, maybe right at the beginning, and if not, it was the end of last year. After a while, I can't remember. Yeah. But like you eat this balloon, like
I do eat a balloon.
And so my question is, do you really eat the balloon, or can you tell us or not?
I'm not going to tell you, but I will tell you this. That's an old trick that's been around since vaudeville days. And that's kind of where I grew up watching a lot of that old stuff like that. My dad was a big, of course, Red Skelton, a guy named Ernie Kovacs, and guys like that. And so everything had this vaudeville feel to it. And that balloon eating trick is actually old vaudeville.
Yeah, because I'm sitting there going, how many balloons does he have in his body?
Well, when I learned to do it, my kids were very young. And I remember I got a bag of balloons sitting in my chair at my house, and I started blowing them up and trying to swallow them. And my wife walked in. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I tried to explain it to her." She says, "Wait till the kids go to bed." So I spent a few nights, or a few weeks, I guess, after the kids went to bed, trying to figure out how to swallow a balloon. And I get it down most nights.
Yeah.
You know, it's like sword swallowing, but not as much danger.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, folks, okay, this is going to be a good place to stop, but if you have not seen him swallow this balloon, it's worth just going to try and say, what the, how did he do that? How did he do that? Because it's kind of magical.
It is, and I think that's, and you'll see, and you've been to the show this time of year, we get a lot of families and kids and stuff like that, and I think part of that is, a lot of it's tradition. We hear it nightly, and it's the best thing in the world to hear, is people say, "This is my son. My parents brought me. They're right over there. We want a picture." And that's how we get families. And we love it. It's just part of their yearly tradition, or their Branson tradition, is to come by the Presleys. And I forgot what we're talking about.
Okay, that's good. We're done. We're going to stop right there, and I'm going to go put that picture back up on the behind him. So we'll be back in just a moment.
Presleys Country Jubilee. Branson's favorite family show is bigger, better, and more fun than ever. 52 years after building the first music theater in Branson, these icons of Ozarks entertainment are live on stage, bringing you the best of classic country, soul-stirring gospel, and hilarious comedy. With a family-friendly experience for all ages, we invite you to join the Presley family tradition. Call our box office or purchase your tickets online right now at presleys.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today we have Eric Presley, aka Cecil.
It's me.
And so we've been talking about comedy. Now, do you and your dad sit down and write comedy together? Do you write it? Does he write it? How does that all work?
We do it together, and we've always done it together, pretty much. And what we do is we come up with a routine. Like, I think the hardest thing to do is come up with what it's about and the kind of comedy we do. So we come up with a situation or something to base it on. And then we'll come up with about 3 jokes that we know we want to hit in that routine. And then that's how we start the season, pretty much. And then it just nightly changes and builds. So we want to make sure we hit those jokes we decided on, agreed on, and then it's kind of a free for all around it. But we write, and that's been my dad taught me. Of course, he started doing comedy on radio shows in caves around here years ago. A guy named Lloyd Evans up in Springfield had a show at Fantastic Caverns. And that's where my dad first started playing the character of Herkimer. And he taught me a long time ago to write things down. So I just have stuff written down.
That just you see in life.
Everywhere. Yeah, just anything that you can think could be funny down the road. And you'll hear comedians say this all the time, you end up with a lot of partial notes, and you do. You know, like what's funny about whatever. I can't remember, but we do. We just write down everything. So we have notebooks of stuff. And so when it's time to, or situation comes up, it's, if we need to, we can look in those. But usually the comedy and the way we do it just kind of happens, you know.
But see, that is part of talent. That's when you say it just happens, like that. Like most people can't make it just happen. And that's why you're in the business you're in, and why you guys are successful. So if someone's never seen the Presleys before, tell us, what can someone expect in the Presley show, and what it's like?
A little bit of everything. You know, the recipe's been the same since 1967, and it's kind of we always say, if you don't like what's up there, give us 2 minutes, you'll see something different. So there's always something for everybody. And it is kind of what you might say, the blueprint for a Branson show, you know, or that style of show. It is. It's fast, funny, hopefully. The music's good, and it's over before you know it. And that, if we've done that, we've done our job.
In that scenario, you're mixing in music and comedy bits and kind of the whole different people singing, and And so I think that is like the Branson type show.
It is,
like,
yep. It is.
formula. And it's funny you talked about the formula, because it was probably a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to a guy who had been to 7 or 8 shows, and he comes twice a year to see 7 or 8 shows, and he goes, the Presleys. And I just said, tell me what you think. And he was like, the Presleys have this down, and they know what they're doing, and like he was ranting and raving, and he was like, I want to come to Branson and someday open a show. Like that's but they come, and so he complimented
that
you
goes
guys.
back to what I was saying. I mean, that's so nice, but it's the same recipe. So when you've been cooking the same dish for 54 years, you know what, or you think you do, how much salt it needs, how much pepper it needs, how long it needs on the stove. So that's what we do. I've recently, and I can see if I can track down some of these old pictures for you and stuff. Our original show list from the first year, 1967, and it was hand typed, and you could do that show right now. We could.
Wow.
And it would look a lot like what we're doing. Of course, the jokes would be up to date, the music would be up to date, and stuff like that. And that's what does change and has changed, and that's why we've been able to stick around, is keeping up with the times by whether it's current events with the comedy or new music or stuff like that. We've always evolved that way, but the recipe is always
now
the same.
you're 3rd generation in the show, is that right? And so your son would be 4th generation.
4th, correct, yeah, my son Ben, he's in there with me every night.
And so, there's a saying in generations, by the time you get to the 3rd generation, less than 10% of that family is in the business still.
Really?
And so probably it's even less than that on 4th.
Yeah.
And so you're also very unique in the fact that you've got a lot of family that are still in generations after it started.
We do, and we have family backstage, on stage, up front, and we need all of them. But the other thing we have, and we've always had, and we always try to make it a point to say this, is since 1967, or since the cave shows before that, it's never been just our family. It's never been, you come to our show and you're only going to see Presleys. You're going to see 6 to 7 of them, but there's 12, 13 other cast members from all over the country that are really good.
Right.
And we need them.
No, I think
and
that's
we've had them from, and it's we couldn't do what we do. We wouldn't be here if we didn't have those other entertainers with it, because it makes for just a fast, fun show.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
So talk about when do you perform?
Every night except Sunday.
Every night.
Yeah,
So-
from March until December. And no matinees, and it's been the same schedule for a long time, so that's the easiest question, because I don't have to.
So what do you do during the day? That's what I want to know.
It'd be like saying, what do you do when you're not doing the show? There's a lot to do, especially with the family business, as we've all gotten kids in it now and stuff like that. There's plenty to do, whether it's the marketing, whether it's you name it.
So there's a lot of things behind the scenes that are going on that people would never think of.
Yeah. The show's the fun, easy part.
Okay.
It's usually the other, but that other stuff's great too. We're blessed to do it, and we have so much good help.
Yeah. Okay, folks, the Presleys Theater is really right in the middle of the Strip now.
Yep, easy to find.
And it's Lambert's is close. No, not Landry's. Landry's is close
right
there,
next door.
and you got if you over by Hollywood Wax Museum, and it's all right in there, and they're kind of smack dab in the middle of the Strip, and you can't miss it. They got a big old
red building, yellow sign.
The digital sign. That's what I was trying to get. The big digital sign out there, and the Herkimer character with your dad and his bright, flashy overalls became very iconic for Branson. And in fact, it was on a lot of magazine covers.
Yeah, he has. It's great. He's a hillbilly comedian. He's been in GQ, on 60 Minutes, you name all kinds of stuff. But he understands, and has for a long time, that people come to this area, to the Ozarks. And when you go to the Ozarks, and our families use this analogy a bunch, it's like when you go to Hawaii, you want to see a hula girl. When you go to the Ozarks, you want to see a hillbilly.
There you go.
And we will happily give you a couple of hillbillies.
Yeah, that's it. I think
and we've
that's
said that before in other things, but it's true.
Yeah. There's been some people in the past that don't like that hillbilly persona, but I think that's also about your culture and about your, you know, the past and the present and all of that too. And so, you know, and it's just part of the history of the group. So
we love doing it.
Well, I just appreciate you coming on the show today. Well,
thanks for having me. But I gotta say real quick, congratulations on your 200th episode. Thanks to you and your family. Our families have known each other. We were just talking off air since this late 60s, early 70s. Our parents had known each other around this area, working, trying to get tourists in here and taking care of them. So we love you guys, and thanks for everything you all have done.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thanks. We'll be back in just a moment to wrap the show up. Hey folks, welcome back to the show. We're wrapping the show up today, and I just want to thank Eric Presley for coming on and taking his time to share with us just his thoughts and kind of history of the Presley show. And they perform nightly at 8 p.m. except Sunday nights at the Presleys Country Jubilee. You can find them right out there on the middle of West Highway 76 Country Music Blvd. Every once in a while they may have a break in their schedule, but pretty much every night, 8 o'clock, and that's kind of what they've always done, and that's what they continue to do. It's a great formula. I do want to let you know about an upcoming event that is in a couple days on July 24th out at Silver Dollar City. We have one of the most influential Christian artists of probably the last 20 years. Chris Tomlin will be out there. He's written lots of major worship songs. So if you want to have a great night of Christian music, go check out Chris Tomlin, July 24th, out at Silver Dollar City in the Echo Hollow Amphitheater. It will be a great night. And so we want to welcome Chris to the area. The other thing is, if you need help planning your vacation, if you've been watching the show, guess what? You know where to go. You go to ibranson.com. Those folks can help you with show tickets, attraction tickets, lodging, the whole bit. You can buy it all online, or you can call them at 1-877-ENTERTAIN. We want to thank you for watching, and we'll be back next week with more PlayBranson.